Hello, grade sixes. Welcome back. This is part two of our last video. You can see that part one, part two. So this one's not going to be very long. We only have a couple more slides. Whew. Mic just fell over. Just have a couple more slides to get through, and then I won't take you very long to watch. So, continuing on, Athens began to thrive. We just finished the Golden Age, and so they valued education, and so the education in Athens was a little bit different than what we would have now. For one thing, it was boys only, and so boys from the age of 6 to 16 were in school. What school was you showed up to have a tutor, basically one tutor. Some people would have very esteemed tutors, like the great thinkers at the time. Others would not, but it was very valued, and we see that contrasted with what Sparta was like, right? Sparta valued the military, valued their children being warriors, those kinds of things. And so they went from the age of 7 all the way to 20 doing training for the military. And so contrasting those two, very important. They saw it as a way of ensuring that the government would continue to be established, that the momentum, the rules, the laws, the order of the society would be maintained through education, through keeping kids aware with laws, with how procedures went, with thinking and philosophies, and how do we enable a society to flourish. And so that is also why you see around the world, almost every country in the world values education, and either as a way of empowering their citizens, or they use it as a way of how do I want to say this nicely, but or imprisoning them by propaganda, or filling them with lies, those kinds of things, to make sure that they stay happy with the government, those kinds of things. And so education, if you control education, you control the next generation, and you control society, and that can be good and that can be bad. One thing they did value was fine bodies. So they would put a high value upon personal fitness, muscles, things like that. So if you are ever looking at ancient Greek art, usually there's someone with very little clothing on showing off all of their muscles. That was part of the art. That was part of just the values. They were thinkers, and they appreciated being good citizens. And so we see that value of they participate in society. The citizens are following the laws. The citizens are joining the council. The citizens are joining juries and those kinds of things. And so this is for boys, of course, because girls, they didn't go to school. They worked at home. They learned from their moms how to take care of a home, how to cook, how to sew, how to do all those homemaker type tasks. And so and I already mentioned this last point, but education for boys was a whole bunch of kids with one teacher, one tutor, and they would be brought through that from the age of 6 to 16. Girls not included. Sorry, girls. So this began the next era, and this was ultimately the end of the Golden Age as the Peloponnesian War. Now remember, and we'll talk more about the significance of this as we get through more lessons, but the Peloponnesian War was fought between Sparta and Athens, and so it's a very long war, spanning over a decade. But Athens began to have a huge influence over Greece, and began to rival that and of Sparta. Sparta was obviously the power and the head of the Peloponnesian League. Athens was the head of the Delian League, and so these two alliances very much didn't get along. And so it began a war between the two, the Greeks versus Sparta. And if I were Athens, I would not want to fight the Spartans. Like, they're just machines for. And so as the stories go, the Spartans held a siege for 2 years on Athens. They or basically a siege is where you control everything that's coming in and out of the city, so the people are basically locked in their houses, their city. And what happens is you begin to starve. People get hungry. People get mad at their leadership. They feel caged. Diseases start to spread as people can't get around. I think we kind of see that now, right? the virus right now is spreading faster as people are for some reason in their houses. And so as you're compact, yeah, terrible time to be living in Athens. However, it wasn't just all fun and glory for Sparta. It was a lot of soldiers' lives, a lot of men being away from home. And so, like I said, we'll learn more about the Peloponnesian War as we go. But Great Plague. Pericles died at 429. So you can see that was right during the time of the plague. He didn't die of a disease or a weapon or anything. He died from stress as he's trying to lead the city of Athens through this siege. And then at the end of it all, Sparta ends up defeating Athens and the Peloponnesian League. The war is over. However, everybody in the Peloponnesian area, that lower Greek mainland, is weak. Their cities are weak, their governments are weak, their armies are weak, their economies are weak. And then, and this is where the door, like, creak, like it's like leaving the end of one scene into the next power, opening the door to the next power of Greece. So we will continue to learn more about the next steps, what happened after. Please take time to write your reflection questions. How did the democracy change the lives of the ancient Greeks? What role do the slaves play in the formation of democracy? What does a biblical leader look like? And so when we talk about number 2, remember, slaves were the ones who allowed, the more slaves people had, they would be doing the work, while the people who participated in the government didn't have to because someone else was doing their daily chores and stuff like that. So, have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching.